I am back. What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a good weekend. Here on this Saturday, going into Sunday. Weekend's almost over. We've got one more day. So I hope everybody enjoyed their weekend. I hope everybody is spry and good spirits and everything like that. It was hot as hell up here today. And I attempted earlier to make some little clips or whatever I'm put up for y'all. Matter of fact, I'll be on the lookout for the return of my character, Bunny Claiborne, real soon. I've been doing about 3 or 4 of those. I'm chopping up, so I think y'all gonna like that. It's gonna be a reintroduction for many of y'all. I wanted to talk about the new black. Yeah. I want to continue that conversation because I think this conversation needs to be had. Let me turn up this volume a little bit. I think that conversation needs to be had. Evidently, I'm not wrong because I started looking at other publications today and everything else, and I started adding up even more to the equation I already had. But I'm gonna start right here economically tonight. And I am no by any means a CPA or in any means an economics professor or whatever. I just know this off of my own. You know what I mean? So let me break down to y'all what I mean. TMH Global salute, brother. Let me tell y'all what I mean by that. There's a breakdown that goes on economically right now, and I keep alluding to you guys this, and the reason I keep alluding to you guys this was not to be cocky, but once again, I worked around multi-millionaires, you know what I'm saying, for 17 plus fucking years. So I know the difference between the average man and how they're affected if their money shifts versus the man that's on top already and how their money shifts. It shifts very differently. And you see an example of that from the pandemic, which leads me to this. The pandemic itself economically made a turn for a lot of people, including the rich. Now, so y'all can hear me a little bit better. One of the things that changed was, and I mentioned this before to you, it changed touring. It changed how the artists, and not only the artists, but many of the CEOs that beyond the artists and the entourage that are behind the artists that usually have jobs doing this touring, making sure this is placed here, a wardrobe. All these jobs are not needed no more because all of a sudden there's nowhere to perform anymore. Does that make sense? So economically, it not only in turn affected, and this is why you saw a lot of motherfuckers doing all kinds of shit, you know, Corona commercials, video game commercials, brands you had never seen these dudes associated with, and probably for the better most part, you probably would never seen them associated with unless they needed that check. You know, they need that check to pay that lease, they need that check. You know, this is all to keep the mirage going. I know it very well. I helped create the mirage, so I know it very well. I can make anybody into a star. Lord, you listen. It affected a lot of people's money. And the reality is, a lot of people, yeah, they suffice and they made a couple dollars during the pandemic, but in totality in the black population, it doesn't reflect that outside the camera. You see what I'm saying? Like, outside the camera, you don't see that. You don't see that. What I see is I see a lot of poverty going on. I see a lot of people walking around fucked up that once weren't in some cases and now are as a result of that or whatever. And they're surely and purely at the whims of white people because the blacks that do have the money don't want to come and help them. Now, I don't want to bring up old shit or nothing like that, and that's not what this is about, this comment I'm about to say. But I gotta talk about Doggy Diamonds real quick. Now, I had made a statement here on my page a couple of times, and I said, how come some of these bloggers that have, more followers than I do, and I have a shitload of followers, but have more followers than I do, and they're not philanthropic among the culture. But at the same time, at the time of the pandemic, I saw people like literally starving. I'm talking about starving. I mean, like there was no provisions. Regular outlets that a lot of these people depended on weekly were now closed, like food pantry, shit like that. So now they were at the demise of, how I survived by neighbors or whatever. Everything went back. So it was kind of like a beautiful thing there because I saw communities come together. I saw a couple of them in the Bronx do this. You know what I mean? And salute to the man that owns Goya, which is a food product here in the Northeast and in Chicago, California too. But it's a food product. And the man that owned Goya, he was chastised because of his backing of President Trump at the time. And I don't know if it was in a statement. I think it was a statement. I don't think it was a full out, you know, pledge to President Trump. It was more so him agreeing with something. And they chastised him for that. But just the week before that, he had trucks, his own trucks with Goya written on the side. That's spelled Goya, written on the side, feeding people in the hood. Which he didn't get barely commended for. Who else was doing that? So that's an example of how people in the hood can help. You know what I mean? People from this can help. This man's from poverty. He's not a rich man. He doesn't birth from rich parents. This is a poor man. Goya is an MD, VA, and here in NC. See there? Yep. The pandemic has exposed us more to the new black culture, in my opinion. TMH is on point. Devin, so you're so into it. Thank you, sister. No, it's real. It's like, say something worse happens after this. Say this is the hindsight right here of what's to come. You know what I'm saying? So say it was something worse. Not saying that the pandemic is 600,000 plus people in the United States dying wasn't a big deal, but let's say it's in the multi-millions. There are other things that other countries are working on as far as biological warfare. And if you think it was just China, you're sadly mistaken. There are numerous countries working on things similar to what China was working on. You know what I'm saying? And worse. Different strains of influenza. There was some countries that were working on pathogens to eat your skin. There's all kinds of crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? Yes, pathogens that eat your skin. You heard me very correct. Usually pathogens will eat you from inside and out. Blood hemorrhages, shit like that. But somebody in Iran or one of them countries adapted a way to take pathogens, which are from boo-boo, mostly, and in this case it was pigs and chickens, and adapted into a strain of something that you could spray at people, and it will effectively, the bacteria will start eating at their skin. It'll cause a infection that will end up doing this. That's a biological experiment, you know what I'm saying, that other countries have. So I'm saying, say if something worse came, right? Who could you depend on? In my trajectory, in my opinion right now, I think most of these motherfuckers will head for the hills, and this is why I tell you this. The average, give me a second. The average American is out of touch right now. See, you have a lot of people that are in sheer debt right now. You know what I'm saying? Debt agencies right now at an all-time high. Debt consolidations. Because a lot of people out here are pretending that they're making money. My man, if you're making $15 an hour, $20 an hour, that's high school money, in my opinion. That's high school money. You know what I'm saying? I can't do shit with that. Can't no nigga my age do nothing with that. Or my background, you can't do shit with that. 15 hours an hour, nigga, what am I gonna fuck you? And if you think it's just me, I implore you to check out the latest statistics from the unemployment agencies across the nation, and they will show you the same. A lot of these businesses can't get workers to come back because, one, they don't have the hours to offer, and if they do have the hours to offer, they want you there full time for chump change. You know what I'm saying? Not even $15 an hour. That's why I told y'all the federal national average for minimum wage is still $7.90. States individually choose whether or not they want it higher than that or at that median. I'm at the point right now where I feel in my mind, and I think a lot of people, I hope if you can't understand this, if you can't, then I'm sorry. Well, I'm at the point though, like, I kind of like raise an eyebrow at Black and Spanish people, like on some real shit. Like, shit niggas stand for, the shit niggas applaud, like, You know that little girl with the orange hair, right? I'm gonna read your comment. I seen your comment too. This I want to say this before I forget it. You know that little girl with the orange hair that smoked some bud. She got kicked out the Olympics. Nobody thought at any time to say, well, you know what? She's out of it. Let's start embracing these other girls that are there that are just as good. And there's a whole team of them out of Atlanta, black girls. Black girls right now out of Atlanta, and guys. Reuters and PBS outlets are informing the community that the new COVID strain is more contagious than the Delta strain. Yeah, I know. I just talked to somebody about that today. That is ironic you said that. So you understand what I'm saying when I say this? I'm being, you have to be offensive instead of defensive, and that's what these niggas are. These niggas are in full defensive mode. Oh my God, he said something about me. Defensive mode. Oh my God, he trying to come up. Defensive mode, you know? They're predators. And even if you aren't, and that's what your intentions aren't, and your intentions aren't that, you come off as that. You know, like predators, dude. Like, I don't know how to explain that shit. It's just kind of sickening, like, the shit I see. But I want to say this about Doggy Diamonds. Doggy Diamonds said, I'm going to give out $100 this weekend. Shout out to him. He said, I'm going to give out $100. He said, I'm going to divide it up and give 25 each. Help some of these women get some groceries or something in the house. My nigga, I just want to say this to you. I applaud your attention, but don't you ever get on camera and say you're going to go give out $100 during these times. $100 is like $20. $25 is like $5. And I know why he don't understand that. And I'm going to explain to him why I said that. The reason I said that, Doggy, is not to insult you. It's to bring you clear that there are many of articles you can go out here and see, including the one that my friend TMH Global just put up there, where you can go to Reuters or PBS, and you can see that grocery prices rising are a problem. So much of a problem that in this new stimulus, the second bill, there's an infrastructure bill, then there's a people's bill. Well, the second one suggests, it says that a new strain of this coming out and hitting the population and then blaming everybody that didn't get fucking vaccinated. I think they might be doing this intentionally just to make sure they can mandate that people get vaccinated. So they haven't done that yet. They haven't mandated that people get. Y'all have to very much pay attention to that. If it was a mandate put in place, excuse me, I said mandation. If it was a medium for mandate put in place, what would happen is you would have everybody like basically back to the same square one again, but they would just now recuperate. So you're having back at food shortages because now delivery drivers are not getting out. That was a big problem during the pandemic. I remember going to Trader Joe's and sometimes shit wasn't there. Well, you know, that delivery truck couldn't get through, or he already had 7 different pre-existing orders to fulfill he hadn't gotten to yet either because there was a limit of drivers. Well, all these things, new hirees, higher salaries, they drive up food prices. Not from the food suppliers, but from the distributors. That's how that works. And you pay the cost of the distributor, really, to get your food products there. Now, most people, because they're smart, they won't care. But many places that are smaller chains, they will care because they can't afford to take the overhaul and the potentiality that what they just paid for in that long haul, one, will make profit, and two, won't go spoiled or bad depending on what the product is, eggs, milk, etc. This is back to resources. A lot of people have never implemented anything to salvage resources. Nothing. And if you don't believe me, go check out Baba Dick Gregory. They tell you the same fucking thing. See, I listen to an 80-something-year-old man if I listen to a nigga on the corner any day. My grandfather told me that. He said, don't you ever listen to a nigga on the corner. Don't you ever listen to a nigga on the corner. Don't you ever listen to a crooked preacher, especially a white preacher on the pulpit. Well, with all these Catholic preachers and Christian preachers getting caught up, and all these so-called newfound Negroes that's online talk about this and that and other and the third, it stands to contend my granddaddy was right. Because these people don't come to the evaluation any time of what's going on in society. But you're complaining about society. You want society to change, but every value that you embrace, the new black, is that of the oppressor. So no more do you really want to be in the struggle. You just want to elapse the struggle and look at it from the sidelines. Basically saying, oh, I wonder what the poor are doing. You know, that's the apropos of it all. It really is. You are so used, many of y'all, like I said, I'll say it again, many of y'all's parents ain't never made past $20,000, $30,000 in a year. But you out here acting like you grew up with a silver spoon in your mouth, pretending, acting. White folks see through pretending and acting. They see it most of the time the first time they meet you. And they make a decision whether or not they're going to deal with you in the long run. So many of y'all motherfuckers don't know y'all there momentarily in your positions and shit like that. You will see, because the ever-changing world will demonstrate that to you. But back to what I want to say about Doggy. I don't think Doggy realizes that. Doggy Diamonds is like me. He's been around money. And I was the same way. I was out of it. Now his man, I think he has good intentions, but he boasts a little just too much. It's a little too much. Don't clap yourself on the back all the time, buddy. You gotta do this thing city to city. That's when you get the accolades and the awards and the presidential honors, shit like that. That's what you're aiming for. Now, if you just want to be hometown hero, that's good. That's cool. But you see, your discussion at that time's got to stay in the perimeters of local town hero. Can't exceed that. Because your intentions don't exceed that. You understand what I'm saying? And that's not to insult you. That's reality. Now, Doggy Diamonds, don't you ever get on camera after you got a cash app up, and at one time niggas could see niggas donating $50, $100, $200 and say you gonna hand out niggas $100. You get on camera and say you gonna hand out anywhere between $500 and $1,000. And that goes for the rest of y'all motherfucking vloggers that have been collecting coins too. See, I'm your friend. I am. I really am. I share y'all shit. That should let y'all know, even before I get into these conversations with y'all, I got a respect level for y'all. So don't ever get that confused with what I'm saying. I'm telling you how your public persona. And I told Puff the same fucking thing. And many of others, and I'm never wrong, am I? Maybe that's why they kept me around for 17 fucking years. But I will tell you this. Don't ever get on camera and say you're only going to be philanthropic with $100. And previously, for the long duration of your career online on YouTube, you've had a cash app up. You understand what I'm saying? And within that cash app, on multiple broadcasts, people have donated 50, 100, 200, whatever amount to you. See, at that point, you don't look like a champion of the people. You look like somebody out of touch. You sound like somebody out of touch. I'm looking to see if I drop my damn what's name. Y'all, I know, ooh. I was like, oh my God. You don't do that. You don't do that. You don't do that. Yeah, and I'm glad it was at the end of the show instead of the top of the show, because you know how these motherfuckers are. They sit back and think and be like, that motherfucker. So I wanted to tell you ahead of time. You better off this week saying this. We ain't gonna do that this week. I don't want a chip of it. I don't want a dime of it. I don't want none of it. If you want to give me something, you know what my shit is. $STRINGER BELL80. That's up to you. You know? I have long forgotten the friends I had in the hip-hop industry, except for 10. Hey, you all right, man? How's everything down at that shelter? I don't need to send nobody down there, do I? Nah. Hey, yo, come meet me on 34th Street, man. I got $200 for you. All right, good luck. You know what I'm saying? Real niggas. Niggas be talking all that get money shit, but ain't giving no money. It's taking money. The new black niggas too. Just taking money. And I know you taking money because I've been part of you taking money. You understand what I'm saying? When I was up there at that motherfucker, what's the name? We were selling those albums to make money. We were promoting those albums to make money. Make no future revenue, future and future proceedings that go quarterly now. You know, future revenue. That's what it was all about. And I know that better than anybody. Know it better than most because, and I'm not trying to check my own thing, I come from a different background. I come from some very small people. My IQ itself is 159. I say things and talk things sometimes like a white man would, and I get it. And I get where people get that confused. But my direction is towards y'all. That's one thing I give Boyce Watkins. He broke the barrier for that. Yes, he did. Let's give him respect for that. I respect Boyce Watkins on a lot of other things too. This thing sometimes he does it with bad intention, but I think he's a good man overall. You know what I mean? Overall, I think he's a good man. You know what I mean? But you go fucking up though. I like that guy. Boyce, I'm telling you, and many others, they gave the pathway so you could start articulation in conversations and have people actually listen. And I know there's a very small population and part of our culture. I mean, the accolades that many of us have. You can say what you want to about Ben Carson. The man is the #1 neurologist in the world, you know. So you have to be careful because you don't like somebody's articulation or how they talk or whatever. Anyway, getting the pathway on the area of you making a decision or taking anything out of what the person is saying. You know what I mean? This new black feels otherwise. They feel that they can look at you and sum you up in a matter of minutes, tell what you're about, tell what you do, and everything else. And whether or not you like it or not, you're supposed to accept it. Taking money out of black community without reinvesting in the community seems to be a part of the new black community. This brother knows I'm not lying. You're taking money out of there, but you're not putting anything back. You're making money off the back. Listen, the whole music business ran like this. All these guys that are multi-millionaires and multi-billionaires and faster than ever before, these guys are doing this shit in 2 or 3 years. You know what I mean? What takes some 10, 15, 20 years to get, and they still only get a quarter of that. You know what I mean? That's why I always laugh at cocky ass dudes when they walk past me. And I'm like, nigga, first of all, you're walking. You ain't even realize that. Second of all, that suit you got on, that shit is racked like a motherfucker. Anybody know what I'm talking about, know what I'm talking about. That shit's racked. You know what I mean? Straight racked. You know what I mean? Factory. I can look at the shit how it drip. You know what I'm saying? Them cuffs, the cuffs is mad loose. You know what I mean? Like, it's indicators to that shit. I have to say this and I'm gonna get off of here. This new black, and I'm gonna continue with this. I wanted to just get into a little bit of the economic end of it and show you guys and try to explain to a lot of the YouTubers and vloggers that follow me and watch me as well, that you gotta watch what you say on camera to the people. Because the people gonna test you on it sooner or later. They're gonna ask you questions. They're gonna be like, but you ain't doing this shit. And they're gonna ask you more and more now, especially with the younger generation, those 25 and under. You know what I'm saying? Who I correlate well with. They're part of my demographic. I see my demographic is 25 through 35, and then my second demographic is 35 through 45. Those are my two main demographics. You know what I'm saying? I think the ones under 20, I think I got like 4% of them to check me out. That are part of my, and that's part of subscription base. You know what I mean? And they come back, because if they don't come back, they don't even show up in those demographics. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, man. This new black thing, I'm not with it. I don't feel it. I don't like it. I think it's a short tail way back to slavery in a mental way. This time, the new Jim Crow, I even heard Joe Biden even say those same terms that they are talking about voting. You know what I mean? A lot of Republican states, if you're not aware of it, are going around, they're trying to snatch up a kind of like collaborate together and skew the voting rights of those states. And it's affecting unproportionately a lot of black people there. This is why you have this thing going on right now with these senators that are told that they leave D.C. and come back to Texas, they will be arrested. And if they're not arrested the time they come back, he will write another decree. This is what the governor of Texas said. He'll write another decree and have them arrested the next time they come back, you know? And this is all the fight about voting rights. So there's much more going on. And I don't care. See, I done did the streets. You could check my motherfucking back. I did the streets for real. You know, all that talking shit and all. Man, listen, no. There's no talking. No talking on the phone. Don't, at the time I first came in, don't send me funny motherfucking messages on the two ways, none of that. You know what I mean? I know the difference when I hear street lingo and when I hear real lingo. I am not a point in my life that I am predominantly street, even though I will get that fucking way in a minute. And I got a lot of guys, and they got the things, and they'll use them, and, you know, I don't want to get that involved in it. And I don't rely on, per se, African Americans for that, if you get my drift. You know, I really don't. Naturally, that's not what it is. My whole crew was Latino, Negrito, you know what I mean? My whole crew, damn near. And like 5 black guys, you know? No, I don't know. And to this day, those are still my people. I don't see them all the time, or extensions of them. It's not about that. It's not about the tough guy shit. I'm not into that. I'm into trying to fix some of these problems that you and I, our generation, partially, and some of us is different. We mix in with this oldest of the millennials, youngest of the Gen Xers. You know, that's where I'm at with it. And those crew especially, because you saw the transition of this shit and were able to point out, I find only people in these birth years, and they only understand it because, like, you had to be old enough but young enough to see it at that time. It's crazy. Guys, I'm hopping up here. We'll talk some more about this new black. And wow, it's just crazy, man. This is crazy. There are people out here literally starving, son. So much to a point that what's the name? Biden is right now saying he's up for a fourth stimulus. He's up for a fourth stimulus. So if you think that everybody's doing so fucking well, if white folks ain't doing well, how the fuck is black folks doing better than them white folks running the motherfucking United States? I don't understand that caveat. I don't understand that caveat at all. What is the caveat on that? How did you come to that equation? Are you so delusional you done fooled yourself? Like, we rich now, boss, ain't we? We's rich. You know, like, ass mentality. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the best way I can explain it. If everybody's doing so fucking well, why is there a need for another stimulus? Why is there a need for this child tax credit? Why is there a need for all these different other fucking programs and a 3.5 trillion projectional motherfucking bid for a motherfucking package? Why? 3.5 trillion. Why? If black folks are doing so well. You're living under illusion. And I hate to say it like this, but Dave Chappelle said it best in that one skit. Remember the nigga family? He said, well, he's rich, but he's nigga rich. We're rich, but he's nigga rich. Yeah, pretty much like that. He's rich. We're rich, but he's nigga rich. Thousandaires and shit. You know what I'm saying? Thousandaires. I better stop this shit. You're gonna lead yourself right into a hole. Guys, I may or may not be back tonight. I don't know, whatever. It's been a hell of a day just reflecting on shit. I was thinking about a lot of things. What are my moves going to be and everything like that or whatever. Whether or not I'm going to stay on YouTube, or whether or not I need to wait until I fulfill my psychological evaluations, fulfillments, and all that shit before I get back on it. You know, I had to really start thinking. I was like, yo, I've been through a lot. And I don't mean to get off subject here, but I'm just saying, this talking to my psychiatrist and shit like that, it's made me realize that, like, yo, and it took me throwing something into the conversation when I said this week, I said, I like share shit like that. I don't give a fuck. You can think whatever the fuck you want to about me. I don't give a shit. You're like, look at that crazy motherfucker. in that Mercedes. You know, I don't give a shit. I never have. That's why. That's what makes true stars. You can't give a shit what anybody thinks. You can't. You know what I mean? You can react on it, but you can't give a shit. My whole like little journey right now. What he said, keep your head, bro. Email me so we can communicate. Absolutely, absolutely. I'm sorry sometimes I don't. It's just like I be so like they have me like I have everything to do now. You know what I'm saying? And before I didn't. Like I have like what I'm talking about right now. I have to talk to I talk to my psychiatrist twice a week. You know what I'm saying? Via the phone. And I do that because for me, like that has nothing to do with that passion. No, that's me. I did that. You know what I'm saying? Because I started seeing that I was reacting very violently to people, and it carried with me from New York. You understand what I'm saying? I even looked at some of the video I have up here on my channel right now. But earlier in my channel, y'all saw some of the situations I was in. I had to react violent because motherfuckers were acting violent with me and then want to turn around and play victim afterwards. So they weren't, most of the time, they weren't aware that I was filming them as they were doing what they were doing. I love that shit. I love that shit. You start acting up on me, my first instinct is to film you. Unless it's like some hood shit or something like. But if you start getting out of line and it's like in some social setting, and so I reacted violent. Well, I had a little incident I kind of alluded to, but I didn't come on camera. It happened not too long ago, and I felt terrible for that. You know, something I did. You know what I mean? And that was the old me coming out. And I don't know. At one point, I feel like justified in it, if that makes sense. But in another form, I was like, I could have handled that better. And so, you know, I know a lot of you guys don't know me like from that angle. I don't like to say shit like you don't know me like that. That's corny, right? But I know a lot of you guys don't know me from that angle, but I usually have a history of that. I like, trust me, I used to be very, very violent. Like, and I'm not talking about like normal violent, like go shoot somebody, stab somebody, some stupid shit like that. No, I'm talking about like next level violence. You know what I mean? And I'm not proud of it. I'm not proud of it, really. And so talking to the psychiatrist and everything like that just makes you realize, like, okay, you know. And one of the things I brought up to her, I was like, yo, you know, this whole pandemic thing. She's like, what were you doing during the pandemic? And then when I told her, she was like, oh my God. Like, she didn't say, oh my fucking God, but she really wanted to say that probably. She's like, oh my God. She's like, no wonder. Like, and I was like, yeah. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't credit me for that. You know, I spent the pandemic, the bulk of the pandemic, homeless shelters, 3 of them. Then one moment I was in a hotel. I remember I was in a hotel room. Well, not a hotel room, but a hostel for like a week because we were trying to figure out where I was going to go next. I've been through a lot, man. I've been through a fucking lot. And people are just like, nah, just shake that shit off. And no, because 10, 15 years from now, even that lady told me that, and she's certified. Not somebody in the comments fucking section or something, you know. So yeah. But enough about that sad stuff, man. Let me get up out of here. And I don't even care if I'm sleeping on the fucking floor, which I don't think will be the case. I don't care what happens. I'm just saying like this. I'm gonna be alright. And I'm gonna come back. And a lot of this shit y'all hear me talking about right now, y'all keep my word to this, alright? Like, it's like I told you, I would keep on going with this YouTube thing. Even, you know what I'm saying, as things got better, and I will continue after that. I don't care if I got 2 people following me. Fuck that. That's an audience, you know, whatever. I've been going through what I was going through for almost a year, some change. And I had to really look back at that. And the things I've seen, the people that crossed my path, I remember their faces, like so many faces from being in homeless shelters. Like just faces after face after face. I don't know. It's almost like a curse, you know? And that should always stick with me. It'll always stick with me. That's one of the primary reasons I want to help those people, and that's the primary reason I told them to ship it to take homes. I know I can do it. So, you know, think what you want to about me or whatever. But me and other guys like this, 3 or 4 other guys are trying to do similar shit to what I'm doing online. So, and I don't know their names like that, but I'll make sure I share their shit because I came across them and I'll share them. You know what I'm saying? And they're black guys, so, you know. I've had people say terrible things to me, you know, terrible things. And I'm like, damn, man. Like, all the times that prior to maybe 5, 10 years ago, I hung around black people, always had a good time. Always had a real good time, man. You know. And then when I was back in the Bronx, I started hanging out with more. Like I was in a whole Spanish household for one, and then two, where primarily Spanish was spoken. You know what I'm saying? So you know, I primarily most of the time in there speak Spanish. Shout out to them too. I don't know where they ended up, but I hope it's somewhere good and they ain't getting any problems. Yeah, think about your life sometimes and not pretend everything's perfect. You know what I mean? The new black dictates. I was supposed to end this, right? What happened? The new black dictates that no, you're supposed to keep a smile, a fake smile, until you fucking self-explode. You know that shit is unhealthy to do. It's also unhealthy not to show all of your emotions. You know what I mean? Very unhealthy to do. People will say, "Oh, you need to harbor your anger." You should not harbor your anger. You should not harbor your anger. You don't have to extract it the same way and execute the same way, but you should not harbor your anger. Because if you do it too much, and there's different ways you can coattail to do it. Like I'm very witty, so if it comes to something somebody said funny or something like that, I'm able to, you know what I mean, navigate my way around it where it don't get violent most times. Most times. But they never expect it from me because they think, oh, look at this tall guy, you know. I always do that. Always do that. All right, guys, I'm gonna get up out of here. It's lightning out here. That's why I said that earlier. So I definitely don't want to get caught up in that. God bless all of y'all. I don't know if y'all can hear that or not. That was some of it right there. So I'm gonna get up on out here or whatever. Yeah, I'll show you guys. It's actually rained out here a little while ago here in my home. So it's like, this is the city here. I very rarely show y'all the city here, don't I? Y'all always see my mug on here. Yeah, this is my city. It's quiet. If you guys want to, I'll tell you what. You guys can walk with me, and we'll do that. Yeah, it's coming down again in a minute. I don't like rain. I like my $12 sneakers I got at Burlington. Y'all better go to Burlington. Burlington is your friend. Shit, I keep getting $2 t-shirts and all kinds of shit. Niggas be like, yo, that shit US Polos. I said, I know, nigga, $2. Y'all better look at that clearance rack. Shit. Homeless hustling. For real. That's what we used to call it. It was a set of motherfuckers, at least during my bout with homelessness, and I still think there is. Oh, it's actually raining right now. Oh shit, we ain't going to motherfucking where. That's why I hear that water hitting like that. It's actually raining. Shit. Well, we'll be all right. I need to stand up anyway. It was actually a group of guys I knew. Yeah, I'm turning this back around. That looks silly. It was actually a group of guys I knew actually that like all of them were like young guys, like on one man CJ. I got to give him a call. I still got his number too. And my other man, Ishmael Allah from Harlem. Motherfuckers used to stay right, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we had our own little hustle, selling cigarettes, whatever. Motherfuckers don't know. Then at the time, I was working at both of them, Madame Tussauds. And then I started working at Ripley's, believe it or not, next door. Like, I have a work history outside the fucking, what's the name, music business. The way I got to New York is putting up solar panels, you know? I don't know, I can't even explain to y'all my mental capacity right now. I don't feel normal sometimes, you know what I mean? Like, we've been communicating with people, and I know a lot of it's got to do with the pandemic, but even just communicating with people on a little bit is just hard for me sometimes. That's why I get on camera and practice, really, you know? But it doesn't translate the same way to society, it really doesn't, you know? All right, guys, you know what? I think I'm going to make a run for it, because if anything, it's going to rain even harder, and plus, I don't want to too much about y'all want to hear about my shit, you know what I'm saying? But guys, Cash App, $signs, STRINGERBELL 80, Stringer Bell 80. All help is appreciated, for real. The brothers on always gonna be on low gas in this expensive ass city in this tri-state here. You know what I mean? It's so fucking expensive nowadays. That's why I was talking about the food prices and everything like that. And a lot of people be surprised when I'll be like, yo, I'll take that extra 20, 30 minutes to go to Trader Joe's versus going to ShopRite or some shit like that. Because ShopRite, the bill's gonna come out to $130 for probably like $70 worth of groceries. Where you go to Trader Joe's, you get $70 worth of groceries and $70 worth of groceries. You know, that is a distinct difference. So why should I give you? Why? Because I got it? Fuck that. You smart. Throw that shit into something. You know, throw that shit into something. Anyway, I appreciate all you guys that did show up. I'm actually going to get off of here right now because it is raining like hell now. And it's only going to get worse. Fuck. Salute, y'all. Thank you. I'll talk to y'all later.